Hey, how's it going? Hey, happy Saturday. How's everyone doing? How's the weather? How's everything going? Man, thank you guys so much for joining the stream today on Saturday. I know everyone's busy, so I really appreciate you taking time out to join the stream on this fine Saturday. It's actually a fine Saturday in Minnesota, actually. So I'll start with weather. We got a lot of snow. I think we got 5 or 6 inches of snow. I stopped counting. So we got quite a bit yesterday. Now today it's like perfectly blue skies and sunny and about 16. So it's like, it is awesome. Fresh powder on the ground. Super happy for that. And no ice or anything. It was actually a nice snow. It just snowed all day yesterday. So, hey, man, thank you so much. Crack Kitty, thank you. Awesome. There was lots of follows, subs, and renew subs, and now bits. Thank you so much. I'll definitely get to it here in a second. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. But yeah, what are you guys working on today? You may or may not have seen what I've been working on. Some of it is this behind here, so it might look different. There's no more couch back there. Let me see, I can walk back here now. It's kind of messy. So I'm glad like the lens flare and the bokeh effect kind of like makes it look cool back there because it's so messy. I have so many cords. Oh yeah, fixed lights too. I got a story on the lights. I have so many cords down there. You can see camera tripods and all of that if I let it be in focus, but I'll stay up close so the bokeh makes it look cool back there. Pro tip, bokeh makes anything look awesome. So you have the messiest room ever, throw in a couple lights, get a bokeh effect going, everything looks awesome. So it's all my secrets. But yeah, I've been super busy. A lot of it has been with this room. I'm kind of redoing some stuff around here. I have curtains up here now. I have blackout ones. I'm gonna get some. I have some different ones. I'm gonna take these down and put the other ones up. Curtains for the back. I just want to redo it a little bit in here. I noticed for a long time I had that couch back there. People have made all kinds of jokes about the couch. Really, the only thing that couch was there for was to stop echoes in here. 100%. Like I probably sat on it 10 times in my life, and it was just there to kind of look cool and at the same time stop echoes because I talk right into the monitor, it shoots back on that wall, and then it shoots back here into mics and everything, and so don't have great acoustics in here. Plaster walls and hardwood floors, so a couch was a nice way to do that, so are rugs. There are lots of ways to kind of fix that, and I got some sound panels up that have been there for a while. Buddy of mine, Ethan, on Twitter hooked me up with. And so anyways, making it look a little bit better in here. And plus now I have a workbench back there. So I can work on things and film stuff over there, and I can work on stuff here. This is kind of like my workspace. I kind of want my like not workspace too, if that makes any sense. So anyways, lots of changes. I'm actually assembling a second standing desk. So this one's a standing desk. I bought legs earlier in this week. They got here like Thursday, so I'm gonna put standing legs on there so I can raise that up too. Because I feel like awkwardly tall when I'm standing next to anyone's desk, because I'm tall, I'm 6'5". And so when I stand next to that desk, it's awkward. It's like, you know, just imagine where the bottoms of your pockets are. That's where the top of the table is. So when I stand next to it, especially for filming, it's way awkward. So I need to raise it up like this one. So anyways, so there's that's been going on. And then meanwhile, like you saw, I've been working and migrating some of my old stuff off of my Intel NUC. I released a video this morning on Intel NUC. I've had one in my environment for a long time. I had it for a long time. It was actually, it was running Windows Media Center Edition 8, I think, which was pretty awesome. It was my Windows Media Center, and then it turned into all these things, and eventually got into my now Proxmox cluster. Oh man, you guys are so awesome. I'm gonna get to it. I promise I'm not ignoring it. I call out every single follow and sub and bits here in a second. But the Intel NUC bit in my Proxmox cluster for I'd say almost a year now ish. I can't remember. Time is hard, just like math and dates. But it's been in my environment for a while, and I was thinking like, do I upgrade the hard drive in there? Well, I'm only gonna get 16 gigs of RAM, and I have all this weird latency on some of my Kubernetes nodes that fail over to there, and it was getting really weird. And then I just decided, you know what? I'm totally gonna upgrade this thing. I'm gonna upgrade this thing and then ship that old one off to my mom. As you saw, I'm totally gonna give my mom Linux. We'll see how that goes. Can't be any worse than Windows. Sorry, Mom. Kidding, not really. But anyways, so So anyways, I got that Intel NUC up and going. It's really awesome. I know some people have said like, hey, you know, should I get this over mini PCs? Should I not even have a server anymore versus this? Let me make this clear. I still have 3 servers that are on 24/7. This did not replace any of my servers. It replaced an existing Intel NUC. And any device that's low power, very efficient, that's still performant is going to be fine. Doesn't need to be an Intel NUC. I'm just a huge fan. I'm a fan of Intel NUCs, like you saw in that video. I've had one for a long time. They're super compact. They're quite good build. Like I said, I've had mine for 9 years now, and haven't done a thing other than format a ton of times. And it's been running. You know, there was probably it took about a year off. I mean, it was on my workbench for a while, and it was just there just in case I needed to get on the internet or do something. But it's been almost 24/7 for a long time, which is crazy. And actually, you know, I won't even go in there. I have all kinds of stories. That was how I got into home security too. I totally forgot about that. That Intel NUC is how I got into home security and how I got into Blue Iris. Man, full circle. Because I used to run Blue Iris on it, and I connect a webcam to it, and then record when I went on vacation. This was when I lived in an apartment. I wanted, you know, we didn't have Wise cameras or anything back then. I'm talking 8-9 years ago. And so I plugged in a USB cam, and it was actually my home security inside of my apartment. Anyways, I could talk all day about stories that probably don't make a lot of sense to you, but anyways. So yeah, I've been busy. I'm always busy, so I'm going to stop using that excuse. Everyone's busy, but I'm glad you're here, and I'm super glad you're here. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I appreciate you being here. I think everybody appreciates you being here. If you have questions, if you want to talk about anything you want to talk about, that's how this channel goes. I usually run it for about an hour. I run a pretty loose ship on the hour because I start a couple minutes late and I end about 20 minutes late usually. But it's just really a time for us to get together, talk about things we're interested in, talk about things we're trying to fix. If you have questions specific for me, I'll absolutely try to answer them. If you have questions about any of my tutorials, I'll be glad to answer them the best I can. So let's get into it. So first of all, I'm gonna rewind time a little bit. So I'm gonna go all the way back. Wow, you guys are so awesome. I'm gonna start with follows. Let's start here. Saga Boy, thanks for the follow. Samael, thanks for the follow. Mathny, resub, tier 1, 15 month streak. Hello, Tim and everyone. Mathny, thank you so much. Mathny. I'm gonna go with Mathny here. You're Mathny in Discord. Crack Kitty, resub, Prime, 4 months, 2 month streak. No clue what this does. Anything. Crack Kitty, in true form. How's it going, man? Good to see you here, as it is always in Discord too. True form. Great comment. Torkamada, hey, resub, Prime, 6 months, 1 month streak. Dude, thank you. How you doing, Torkamada? Any Blast, resub, Prime, 9 months, 1 month streak. Thank you so much. Crack Kitty cheered 500 bits. Dude, thank you so much, Crack Kitty. Thanks, man. Fire Fart, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Queenie, thanks for the follow. The Quantum Penguin, hey, resub, tier 1, 12 months. Thank you so much. 12 months, 1 year. Dude, thank you, Quantum Penguin. Thank you so much. Brian Weber, resub, Prime, 4 months. Hi and hello, how's it going? Raid Owl, how's it going? Raid Owl TV. This is probably the Raid Owl because I see the avatar. How's it going, man? We never talk. We kind of talk on Twitter. Raid Owl also runs a YouTube channel. He's got great content, great editing, great form, great humor. I love it. Hope you're doing well, man. So nice of you to join. Appreciate it. Space Wolf, and if that's not the Raid Owl that I was thinking, it probably is because I see the avatar. But anyways, dude, welcome. Space Wolf, welcome. I'm gonna go with Sika Roko. That was the worst worst pronunciation probably of that ever. So let's get into it. Let's get into chat. Let's see what you guys are up to. Like I said, if you're working on something, want to share something, feel free to throw it in chat for sure. Salvarius was first in channel. I cleared the channel pretty early, but I made sure that no one had said anything. It was just my bot spamming. I say this every weekend, but I need to fix the bot spam on my bot because it is exactly that now, bot spam. Oh, and a quick story, not quick story, but the lights. So the lights were broken. So last week, if you used channel points, I apologize. Something was up with my bot. It actually wasn't my bot per se. It was actually, it's kind of a long story, but I use this open source NPM module to automate my lights. So I wrote a bunch of code that automates my lights. That works great until Hue changed one of their certificates on one of their endpoints. And the library I used was using an old certificate, so the certificate validation was failing. So I opened a PR on it, except for I didn't do it right. I missed one cert in the chain, but someone else said, hey, here's the first cert in the chain, and we fixed it together, so really awesome. Anyways, if you spent channel points last week, I refunded them all, and so they should be back. So I think Mafney spent about 10K. Those should be back. I don't know if it's 10K, but I saw a lot of redemptions. I felt super bad. So right after the stream, I refunded them. You have them back. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, you earn points in the channel just for being here. And if you click the little button below, you can actually change the lights in the stream, or you can do other things too. But I wrote code to change lights in here, and hopefully they're still working okay. Salvarius, first in channel. How's it going? Woot. PC Geek, let's go. How's it going, man? Manny, hey ho. How's it going? How's it going? Mafney, hello, Tim and everyone. How are you guys doing? Mafney, yeah. PC Geek, where did the video go, or is Twitch broken? Oh, I have no sound, just video. I think it was Twitch, hopefully, because that would suck if I was just talking for about 10 minutes and nothing. You got it. Let's see. Oh, not shown. Oh, I got to get that right. And I think you followed too, but it was way earlier today. And I apologize if I didn't call it out, because I think you followed earlier. So thanks for follow, appreciate it. I'm going to go with not shown, oh, that's so hard. Not shown zone. Anyways, nice toots, Mr. Techno Tim. Thank you. You could drop the Mr. That seems so formal, but I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. PC Geek, I blame DNS. It is always DNS. It's always DNS. I had DNS problems the other day. It was like the worst DNS problem ever because I still don't understand what happened, but I think it was yesterday morning. I was working, all of a sudden nothing worked. My wife's like, the internet's not working. And I was like, yeah, it is. And I was like, no, it's not. And between my 3 Pi-hole servers, 2 that are load balanced, everything stopped. And I have no idea why. It rebooted all 3. I didn't have time to troubleshoot. I wish I would have troubleshooted a little bit more. Rebooted all 3 and is back. But I mean, it took me, a good 15, 20 minutes to get to that point. I was like late to a meeting. I'm like, hey guys, I don't have internet now. Like, technically I have internet. I just don't have DNS, but I wasn't going to go into it. So anyways, DNS is definitely the source of many, many problems here in the Techno Tim household. Sigor, hey all, how's it going? Good to see you. Craig Kitty, what up? What's up? Hey, Galactic Avengers, resub, tier 1, 12 months straight. Dude, thank you so much. 1 year, a couple 1 years today. Thank you so much. Howdy, setting up a fresh Proxmox box now. All right, I know that well. It's surprisingly smooth now than I remember it. And maybe I'm just remembering like when I first started doing it, I think it was on 5, and I really didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't understand ZFS or how to pass stuff through. And like I said, I did it the other night when I was making this video. I literally built the machine, joined it to my cluster, migrated those devices all within 30, 40 minutes of that video. I did it. I didn't show the whole thing because that's kind of boring stuff. But it's so smooth. Proxmox 7, even 6, so smooth. Yeah, so dude, thank you. Hopefully your Proxmox build goes well. Curious to know what it is. Let's see, Salvarius, who left the door open and allowed Randy to sneak in yet? Kiki Randy, yeah, how's it going, man? I sneaky, and it's a lazy day, so I can actually attend the Twitch stream. Dude, thank you. Thanks for being here. I know you got a lot going on all the time. Appreciate you being here, man. Kind of weird, to be honest. Yeah, no, it is kind of weird. I got to be on my best behavior. Kiki Rand's in the house. Let's see, Crack Kitty, no clue what this does anything. Oh, I said that was part of the sub. Yeah, that you probably shared your sub, so I appreciate it. ISO, hey, how's it going? Let's see. PC Geek, cleaned out the dust out of my main PC today and upgraded to an AIO. Nice. I'm a huge fan of AIOs. Found out it never peeled the protective film off in my Cooler Master Tower air cooler before installing it. Yeah, I saw that in Discord, man. When I saw that, I was like, I've done stuff like that. I've never done that before, but I've done similar stuff too. And I think I did a bonehead move with my Pi cluster too. Kind of similar, but not really. I left on the thermal tape, I left a piece of plastic on and I could kind of smell it. So I cut that out of the video. But yeah, man, AIOs are awesome. I've had an all-in-one cooler with a radiator on my machine for since I built it, and that was like 5-6 years ago, and it's fantastic. Everyone's like, they'll leak over time, and who knows? Maybe I got the good batch where they won't, because mine hasn't leaked a drop, and I better cross my fingers and like knock on wood, because it's right above my 3090 right now. So if it leaks, we're in big trouble. Let's see. Take me NL. Getting IPv6 working. Oh, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Sharkbait. Hey, resub Prime. 2 months. 2 months drink. Hey, how's it going? Thank you for the sub. Thanks for the continued support. Appreciate it. Germand. Germand. I'm gonna go with that. Germand. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. So let's see. Take me NL. Getting IPv6 working. I've been busy for 2 days to get it working. With my colo provider and pfSense, it's a nightmare. I can only imagine. I mean, that's got to be tough too. Racket Java. So take me. That's got to be tough. One, it's IPv6. Even with IPv4 and getting pfSense working and trying to coordinate stuff with someone at your co-location, I think would be tough because it's just a game of telephone. I mean, you can't get into the machine, so you have to talk to this person or chat with this person. And try to walk them through configuring stuff. That sounds not fun. It's kind of warm in here. I opened the window just a little bit, just in case you were wondering, because what am I talking about? Anyways, let's see. Pizza Geek, Hype Train. Yeah, thank you guys for the Hype Train earlier. That was super awesome. Geeky Ran, working on getting TDAR running. Yeah, so TDAR comes up quite a bit. Distributed transcoding, I think. If I have my thinking cap on, I think it's distributed transcoding, which sounds really, really cool. I need some of that in my life, maybe, possibly. I'm running out of space on my disk shelf. My 20 terabyte RAID Z2 is about 80%, and ZFS, they say, once you get past 80%, you could have performance issues. And I mean, I'm gonna go past it really quick. Every time I record a video, there's 50, 60 gigs I just throw in there. I record TV all day long. Who knows what's going on? But I would like to explore some TDAR at some point, because it's super cool. I might want to apply it in a different way. A lot of people apply it to videos and stuff like that. Different kinds of videos from different places. I'll just say that. Mine, I actually want to do to compress a lot of convert to transcode a lot of my existing video to H.265, because I hear H.265, if you use it's a really efficient codec, and you get some pretty good compression and good file sizes. Basically, you push the work off on the client when they go to play it, because it takes a little bit more power to actually decode it. So anyways, I need to look into it some more. How's it going? Crack Kitty, mapping all the ports on my Switch since it's dumb and I can't do it in software. Oh, that stinks. So it's all terminal. I mean, that's cool at the same time, because then if you can only do it via terminal, I assume the SW software, or do it, and I can't do it SW. I'm gonna go with software, but it's dumb and I can't. I don't know. But anyways, if you don't have a UI for it, that's also kind of cool, because then at least you could save the commands and repeat it later. But maybe SW doesn't mean what I think it means. But Maffney, I made a joke app for a Crack Kitty. Awesome. I'd like to see it. Tech with Andrew, getting sonar and radar to function correctly using Portainer. Yeah, super great combo right there for sure. I think that's one of the biggest use cases is for containerization, or most home labs start out by running some kind of media server. I've said this before, but a media server is how most people get into home labs, data hoarding, networking. It's definitely the gateway into there, because you just think like, hey, yeah, I'm just gonna store some media. I just need a big hard drive, and it just downward spirals from there, or upward spirals. Depends on how you look at it. Sigor Risa Prime, 13 months. Dude, thank you so much. Best corner of the internet ever. Hey, thank you. Everyone in the Discord is super helpful. Great to see such a kind group of individuals. I 100% agree. 100% agree. I usually end with this, and I'll probably end with it too. We have a fantastic Discord. Everyone in there has been super helpful. I can't believe how much it's grown organically. Found great people who are willing to help and contribute and learn and just share. We have great mods who are fantastic. Love to share, love to help. A lot of times you'll see people spin up environments just to see if they can help someone else out. You see that a lot. You're like, no, I'm not running Rancher or K3S. Give me a couple minutes, let me spin it up and see if I can get the same error that you're getting. Or I haven't done it in a while, let me do it again. And I mean, it's like you can't even pay for this kind of help anywhere. And somehow I got lucky enough to get all of these people in my Discord. So I really appreciate it. You guys are super duper awesome. The show's not over because this is how I end every time, but I just wanted to say it specifically because you called it out. I totally agree. Alpha Computer, dude, 100 bits. Thank you so much. I love your content. Currently working on my server rack in my garage, up and going. Yeah, nice. In the garage, I like that. Because I have a detached garage. I keep thinking, like, do I put it out there? Be great in the wintertime. Summertime might get kind of warm, but I don't know what the thresholds are. You know, you hear all these specs for hard drives, you know, what the best operating temperature is for them. You know, and even Google has changed their specs. They say that, you know, prior to, I think data centers should be in the 70s-ish, or maybe even lower, and now they've raised it up. And I think because being more environmentally aware, but yeah, I'm always curious. Is it heated? Is it cooled? Because I'd love to do the same thing at some point. Just because, I mean, I just finished off that room for it. It doesn't always have to be for that. And it is kind of nice in the wintertime because, you know, it kind of warms the space up a little bit. But during the summertime, I still have to figure out how I'm going to cool that space off. I definitely don't want to get an air conditioner. I want to see if I can somehow just pump the air out somehow. Pumping it out, I think, would be good enough, at least for a first pass. We'll see. Crack Kitty, Mathney, we'll try it out tonight. All right. Geeky Rand, saw that and laughed. Well done. This must be the joke app. I gotta check it out. Manny L1, seen the video from today. What do you guys think about the Minis Forum HM90? So, yeah, good question. So I didn't even know what this device was until I looked it up. So it looks like what it is a compact, low-power device that's an AMD-based device that's very similar to an Intel NUC. Has lots of bells and whistles. You know, supports a lot of the same things, but it's a lot cheaper. It definitely is a lot cheaper. I've only seen 5 minutes of it that I looked through. It seemed impressive for the price. I mean, we're talking, you know, probably 30 to 40% less than NUCs, but you know, it was hard for me to compare apples to apples because you know, Intel's and their cores and their clock speeds versus AMD's and their cores and clock speeds. It was kind of like, what am I really getting here? But I think any device in this that form factor is fantastic if that's what you're looking for. So I don't know that product specifically. It looks super awesome. I would love to play with one someday. But I think it definitely has a future. Definitely has a future, I think. Because I think that too, that Intel NUCs are small form factor devices, or small devices like the one you mentioned up there are also a gateway into home labs and everything else that we do. There's a couple few entry points to get into this whole entire ecosystem, and media servers and small form factors, or even Raspberry Pis, are definitely those. Because then you want more, you want to do more. You start to realize how much more you could do or host yourself after getting some of those devices. So. Awesome. Yeah, good question. I'd love to see one in the wild. So, Cyborgium. Hi, Tim. How's it going? Attempting to set up my first HAK3S cluster, but got stuck on Rancher. Is there a way around having to use a load balancer? Can't get an IP from Metal IP, for example. No easy way. You need something to do load balancing. Do you need to have an Nginx load balancer? No. Could it be a different load balancer? Yes. But those nodes need to be able to register and contact each other and know that they exist, or know that they've moved, or know that they can't contact each other anymore. So they definitely, you need one somewhere. 1 second. Kai, Devram, Resub, Prime, 2 months, 1 month stream. Love your vids. Dude, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for the continued support. Kai, Devram, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for the sub. But going back to your question, Cyborgium, there is this thing called KubeVip. KubeVip does make things a little bit easier and, well, I don't want to say easier, but might make it a little bit more complicated. I'm not sure if the complexity is worth it, especially since you're doing this for the first time. But KubeVip actually puts a load balancer that's inside of Kubernetes with one and exposes one IP address that you can communicate with that is high availability within the cluster. It's totally Inception, and I haven't done it yet, and I keep wanting to, because I managing 2 load balancers to make them HA outside of the cluster is just one more thing to worry about. When my cluster itself should be HA, but my single point of failure a lot of times is the load balancer. If that goes down, Kubernetes freaks out. So, I've been considering putting KubeVip inside of it, just haven't done it yet. But anyways, so yeah, you do need one. And you also mentioned Metal B2. So the load balancer that you need for Kubernetes is not, it's kind of complicated, but I will say that MetaLB is really your load balancer to then, or your ingress to expose, can be your ingress. But it's a way to get inside of your Kubernetes cluster, not for Kubernetes itself per se. Kind of complicated, but you have options. We should talk to them. Torquemada, migrating all my data off my NAS since Docker and Portainer broke on it. Oh man. Then doing a factory reset and then migrating it all back again. Yeah, totally. Been there, not with a NAS itself, but I've been there with hypervisors. I've been there with VMware, you name it. Hyper-V, where you have to migrate everything off and then back on. And I've done it with like big virtual machines too, which was kind of okay because it's a sustained read and write over the network, where if you're doing a NAS, it could be billions, I won't say billions, maybe millions or thousands, hundreds of thousands of tiny little files, and that's what slows you down sometimes. So, man, good luck with that. It kind of stinks. That totally stinks, because then it's like, it's the classic case that I talk about all the time, when you have something that goes wrong and you sink so much time into it, and then when you fix it, you're so happy, but then you're like, okay, I'm exactly where I was, 2 days ago before this problem happened. So it's hard for me to celebrate those victories. They're definitely bittersweet, those kinds of victories. Glad you got it working again, but it's kind of like, man, I just lost, a day or two because of that. Geeky Ranch, jealous Techno Tim. Thanks, man. Oh, that was because of the snow. See, I'm able to. I know. I have context. That's a lot of context right there, Geekerian. I know why you said you're jealous, because I talked about snow 10 minutes ago, and because you talk about how you want snow in Discord. See, I got to hold all this together somehow. Keep all this together in my head. But I got it, and you'll get some. You're not too far south of me, but I think you're far enough south to where it might have missed you. Let's see, Crack Kitty, thank you for the bits, appreciate it. Pizza Geek, freezing here. Yeah, you're out east, and you're getting a lot of cold. I don't know about snow. MN Gap, snow headed for North Carolina here, T-minus 8 hours. Oh, that must have been that storm that came through here. Yeah, just this is like boomerang of a snowstorm just kind of went through. None in NYC yet, 10 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 last night. Oh, Pizza Geek, yeah, man, it's starting to sound like Minnesota. We just went through this spurt of like negative 10 and 20 for like a week and a half, where it was like, where when it was 10 degrees above, we were like, this is fantastic. Starting to feel like old winters here. I feel like the last 4 or 5 years, it's kind of been pretty mild. Let's see. Ilud, the cough is gone. Yeah, all right. I think you mean for you, maybe. But I had a cold last week, and I was just like so stuffed up. But I'm doing better, if that's what you're talking about. PC Geek sweet hoodie, thanks man. This Twitch hoodie, yeah, it was like on sale. Like every year or so, Amazon has a bunch of Twitch gear on sale, and I was like snatched it up. It's like half off. I'm like, I don't have fluorescent green in my wardrobe, in my repertoire. So I decided to pick it up. Yeah, it's pretty loud. It's definitely louder than I normally am. And, you know, I get looks sometimes when I wear it out. They're like, whoa, like, you know, like it's one of those safety vests, you know, when you work on the highway or something like that. It's definitely allowed, but hey, I can be loud on, on Twitch. Lights work. Yes, they do. I fixed that. I talked about that. Thank you. PC Geek, pod mic coming. All right, we talked about this pod mic. This is the pod mic. I love this mic. This is the best, hands down. Radal, dude, thank you so much. Radal, 500 bits, dude, thank you so much. Traveling right now, so I can't hang out much longer. Keep it up, man. Your channel has been a huge inspiration. Radal, dude, thank you so much. Your channel is awesome as well. If you don't know Radal, you know, toss him a follow on Twitch and check him out later on YouTube. He makes some great content. Dude, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Drive safe. Hopefully you're not driving. Hopefully you're just traveling, because that would be tough to do Twitch and drive at the same time. But dude, appreciate it. Really appreciate it, man. But PC Geek, you got a pod mic. I love a pod mic. I'm a huge fan. This is a pod mic, and I don't know. I don't know a ton about audio, but I know when it works, and I know when it doesn't work. As seen as my journey on YouTube and Twitch has been pretty rocky with audio, up until getting this mic and that mic up there. It's been a little bit better. Don't have great acoustics in here. But anyways, I'm a huge fan. Like this mic is 99 bucks. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but this is a lot of mic for 99 bucks. I mean, this is competing with, you know, $200, $300, $400 mics, and it's 99 bucks. Plus it looks good too, I think. But anyways, I think you made a good choice. Software Rat, hello, I'm working on Minecraft Java plugin with YAML config files and got a new laptop yesterday. All kinds of awesome. All right. Well, minus the YAML, but awesome. Congratulations. New laptop. Awesome. Minecraft Java plugin. Awesome. YAML config. I'm teasing. I write so much YAML, it's not even funny. I can't even joke about YAML. But the alternative is like JSON or something else. It's like I dog on YAML all the time, just because it's white space sensitive, and if you know your alignment's not right, it fails to recognize it because they use white space as structure. And I dog it all the time. But you know, what's the alternative? If you're doing JSON, everything needs to be wrapped in curly brackets and quotes and and needs to be specific types. And so, yeah, you got to take the good with the bad. Anyways, YAML. Let's see. Chicago Samurai, hi, how's it going? Working on network segmentation with UDM Pro, CCNA study. Awesome. That sounds awesome. You're combining two things together. Studying for CCNA and doing network segmentation with UDM Pro. Awesome. I went through that same exercise. I would say it's about 9 months ago where I segmented my network, and I feel so much better. Maybe it's a false sense of security, but security comes in layers, and that's not the only thing I do, but I feel so much better when I have my network segmented, especially for IoT stuff, especially for public stuff. Like throw that stuff over the wall in my network and just keep it over there, you know, and don't let it over here. I feel so much better. Puck Silver Breeze, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. But I definitely, I feel so much better about it. And like I said, it's probably, hopefully it's not a false sense of security, but it's great. Funny thing, my wife got a smart air freshener. And she thought, I'll set this up, you know. She went into our password manager, got the password, connected to Wi-Fi, and she was so proud of her smart air freshener, and it worked, and she turned it on. She's like, look what I did. First thing I did was look what network it's on. It's on our trusted network. I was like, no. Get that on the IoT network. But anyways, pretty funny stuff. But anyways, good luck on configuring your UDM Pro, and good luck on studying for CCNA. That's pretty awesome. Let's see. Another tough one. Co-statager. That's what I'm going with. I'm probably slaughtering it. What brand of smart plugs and lights are you using, Tim? Looks awesome. Thank you. They're never fan favorites. People choose smart devices they like and they stick with it. You know, it's Coke or Pepsi, I feel like, all the time. But for me, I went, I hate even saying it. It's like UDM, it's like mentioning Unify or anything else, super polarizing. But anyways, smart plugs, I got into Wemo a long time ago, and I kept building Wemo up over time. You know, and then I had them, I think even before Belkin bought them. So I've had them for a long time. Their app is not great. So you'll want to pair it and use either HomeKit, Google Home, or Home Assistant and manage them that way, because that is lickety split. Like, that is instantaneous. Managing through the Wemo app is terrible. I'm sorry, Belkin, your app is so terrible and so laggy. Every time I open it, I have to force close it, open it again, and refresh. Anyways, but other than that, the hardware's good. Hardware's great. UI and their service, not so great. Anyways, don't let that dissuade you from not getting them. So smart plugs, I've gone down that path. I'm just like, I'm gonna buy Belkin smart plugs. I've considered other ones. I've heard some good ones too, Casa. There's some other good ones out there, but I'm kind of sticking with one ecosystem now, for now, at least for smart plugs. For smart lights, man, I have Elgato lights up here. That's a little bit different because I don't control those. Well, they're a different use case, but for everything else, for the most part, Philips Hue. So lots of Philips Hue stuff. I have some LED panels down below that are actually controlled via infrared, which I don't remember where my remote is. But then I wrote some code to control those through this Broadlink device. Anyways, long story short, when I need bulbs that I want to configure color on and possibly automate them, like in here, like people can control the lights, I go with Philips Hue. Like I said, bought into the ecosystem a little while ago, been slowly building it up, and I'm so far in now, it's like, ooh, don't want to think about another one. And you know, I kind of like I think there's Z-Wave, Zigbee. I'm going to go with Z-Wave, the one or the other. It's super instantaneous. So these devices don't have an IP address and communicate over the network. They communicate over radio wave. So it's near instantaneous when you press button. So anyways, that's what I use. I'm trying to think, I don't think I bought any other. I kind of get in this mode where I get into an ecosystem and I don't like to mix and match. I will say that I bought TP-Link's stuff once. Those are great. Don't get me wrong. Those are great, but then it ended up being harder for me to configure with my code. And so that was another thing too. Like I didn't just choose Philips Hue because they're expensive, because they are. I chose a platform that I could also write code against too. So I'm a software developer. All these lights are automated by code I wrote that's running in a Twitch bot, which is also a code I wrote, and it's open source and it's on GitHub. And so one of my requirements were, can I remote control these lights with code? Because when people click change lights in the room on Twitch, I want to be able to change lights in my house. And so that was a huge requirement for me. And I couldn't do it easily or at all with TP-Link. And so I ended up not using those. I still have them. They're over here. But for 99.9% of the world, they're fantastic. And I would have went down that route if I didn't need to control these. Anyways, but then, anyways, long story short, Belkin and Philips, because I could talk about that for a long time. But thank you, appreciate it. Hue lights, yeah, there we go. And Wemo plugs, yeah, PC Geek, I could have wrapped that up in about 2 seconds. Thanks, man, appreciate it. Alpha Computer, thank you. Yeah, we talked about this earlier. I gotta get this one right. Costa Tiger. There we go. I'm jumping into the Home Assistant boat, and my Casa stuff doesn't work. Super bummed. Oh, I was just saying that I would recommend Casa. That's a bummer. I think TP-Link is rebranded Casa stuff, or vice versa. Casa stuff is by TP-Link. Don't quote me on that. That's a bummer if it doesn't work. But what I always say about Home Assistant, it's where there's a will, there's a way. Like the Home Assistant community will figure everything out. As long as one person has a will or a device that they want controlled with Home Assistant, they're definitely going to go after it. Like that is one of the most awesome communities, software development communities that are out there. There are tons, but I just love the gumption there where it's like, oh, Google, you removed Nest support? Yeah, I'll show you. I'll have the person sign in. I'll scrape your cookies. I'll capture those cookies. Then I'll intercept all these requests and I'll attach those cookies to the requests. So you think it's coming from the app, but really it's coming from Home Assistant and it'll just work. And those are the types of things that I love to see. I love the gumption. It's so incredible, that community for sure. But Nest has first class support now with Home Assistant. So, but yeah, I'm super bummed too that it doesn't work for you. Let's see. Nice game. Oh, there we go. My Casa stuff works with Home Assistant. Good to know, because I would be surprised because they're super popular for sure, super popular. Let's see. Last video about Intel NUC was great, but what's the average price for such? It depends. Depends if you get an i3, i5, or i7. All are capable of doing this, and then they have like these extreme models, then they have these pro models, then they have these non-pro models. So, I mean, we're talking anywhere from $300 to $700. There's a huge range. It depends on what you want to get. But the one, I'll say it, the one that I bought cost me, I think, a little over $600. And I know that sounds like a lot of money. It is. Don't get me wrong. But I'm justifying my purchase. But, you know, once you start to add up all parts and pieces and get something that's low power and low profile, I mean, it's just, it adds up so quick. You know, anytime you miniaturize anything, the cost goes up, you know, exponentially, the smaller it gets. Besides Raspberry Pi, they kind of broke that mold. But for most things, like when you try to squeeze bigger things into smaller boxes, they usually get more expensive. And it's not because anything to do with physics or anything like that. It's more just because lower volume of people probably purchasing those types of things, mini ITX boards and stuff like that. Generally why some of them get kind of expensive because they just don't have a huge demand, like, you know, other ATX style boards. Anyways, I'm generalizing about stuff that, you know, may or may not be true. But that's what I've seen in my experience. So it can be anywhere, and you don't have to buy the Pro one like I did. The Pro has, you know, 2 slots for hard drives. It has an i7. You know, there's i3s with 1 hard drive slot that's half the price. So, but I appreciate it. Yeah. So roughly, yeah, a little over six. I think it's 629 or something. Kind of hard to find. Because it was easier to find a couple weeks ago. But now I've been noticing that they're getting bought up and like everything else and sold by other people. So, Crack Kitty, dude, thank you. 300 bits, dude. Thanks so much. Appreciate it, Crack Kitty. Thank you so much for the bits. But yeah, so VR, SAML. That's what I'm going with. Radal, oh yeah, we talked about that. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it, man. Pariah, MP4. Hey, Tim, what VMs do you run on the NUC? Yeah, good question. Let me grab a drink. So what VMs do I run on my NUC? Right now I have 4. It's right there. It's actually, you can kind of maybe see the light. It's still back there. I have some plans for it too. That's why it's not in my data center. The ex grow room. Don't have a grow room. Long story. But what VMs do I have on there? I have 4 VMs right now. So the way that I've hey, Bacon Hawk, dude, what's up, man? Bacon Hawkinator, tier 1, 6 months. Heyo, happy to see you, dude. Happy to see you too, man. How's it going? How's things a little bit further south than I am? How's the new job? How's everything? We chat on Discord, how's it going, man? So Discord's a moderator on Small Streamers Connect Discord server. He's an awesome guy. Met him in person. He came up to Minneapolis. We had breakfast one morning because he was randomly in town. So hope it's going well, man. I know there's a lot of stuff going on. I hope you're well. Hope you're healthy. Hope your wife's okay. Hope everyone's okay. Hope your family's okay. Thanks again, man. Appreciate it. So Pariah, what do I run on my NUC? I run 4 VMs right now. So the way that I design my Kubernetes cluster is basically I have 3 of everything. 3 of everything. My DNS2, I have 3 of everything, except for one other thing. I won't go into that. But for most thing, I have 3 of everything. So the third node in all of these systems that I use were either doubled up or split across 2 existing servers, and only 1 or 2 was on my old Intel NUC. And I was like, this is kind of weird, like to have 3 nodes in a cluster in Kubernetes, and 2 of them live on one and 1 lives on the other. Still gives me HA, but it just felt weird. So anyways, so what's running on the Intel NUC? Lots of Kubernetes, 4 Kubernetes nodes right now. 1 is my server and agent for 1 cluster, for my Rancher cluster, and then 1 is 1 server and 1 agent or worker for my user-based cluster. So that gives me 4 nodes on there from 2 different clusters and 2 different roles. So which is pretty cool. Now it means I can shut down my 2 servers, kind of, sort of. I got some work to do. Ideally, theoretically, I could shut down my two 1U servers and plus the other one, and have things still kind of work. And that's always been my plan with my old Intel NUC. It just wasn't powerful enough to do this. And every time I tried to like force it, my I/O delay would go super high. I'd put three machines on there. It'd run out of RAM. The I/O is too high, and then so etcd is like freaking out, like, hey, I have a latency of whatever, 200 milliseconds on a disk right now, which is pretty fast. And it just couldn't keep up. So anyways, lots of Kubernetes on there. There's going to be a couple more things, and some I'll probably show you here in a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, lots of Alpha Computer, lots of calls. There was some post on Reddit a while back about, lots of calls. I'm missing. I totally missed this. Finally made a stream, jumped on you saying you're giving your mom links. I can't even imagine the amount of tech support phone calls I get. Yeah, there was some posts on Reddit a while back about the call, and they got less calls. Yeah, so that's coming. And I talked about it a little bit, but yeah, I talked about it a little bit earlier, but my mom, it seems like once a year, the machine dies or something happens or Windows is, borked, whatever. Blue screen of death or not booting, can't find the boot disk. And this could all be hardware, but I'm going to experiment and I'm going to give my mom Linux because you know what a majority of people will do, even on their phone, is browse the web. Sure, they might use apps, but those apps are just connecting to web services. So arguably, they're just kind of browsing the web. And my mom does a lot of that. It's pretty much all she does. And so I'm just going to experiment. And I haven't told her yet, but when I was home for Christmas, she said, this computer's not working again. And I looked at it and sure enough, it was just like, cannot find boot drive, that whole scenario. I'm like, how long has this been going on for? I don't know. I just turned it off and I haven't turned it on since. Anyways, I took that back with me and I'm like, if I upgrade my Intel NUC, then I could give her that Intel NUC and then I can, the wheels started turning and that's what sparked this whole thing. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to give my mom Linux. Let's see how this goes. So we'll see how much I can document it. My mom doesn't live in the same city or state that I do. So I'm going to document as much as I can, but and as much as she'll let me, because she doesn't like to be filmed or photographed. So, anyways, we'll see how it goes. I feel like I could just give her Ubuntu Linux and Firefox or Chrome and say go, and she'd be like, "Oh yeah, the computer works great. it's so fast, and because it's the one thing she really uses." Every now and then she'll download photos from her phone onto there to upload them somewhere. But most of the time she does that from her app now anyway. So, but as we all like to sit down at our desk sometimes, it's super nice to just not be on your phone and doing stuff. Sometimes some things take 15 taps and then you're getting text messages. Sometimes it's nice to sit down at a desktop, and that's kind of what she wants to do. So I got plans. I haven't totally figured it out nor told her yet, but I think if she saw Linux and she had to sign in, she would just see the sign-in screen. She'd say, "What's my password?" And why, things look kind of different, but there's Chrome or Firefox. I know what to do from here. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. H2O Frox. Hello, Tim. Love your show and content. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Radal, appreciate it. Yeah, no problem, man. I'm a little bit delayed. I'm getting caught up though. Let's see. Crack Kitty, I had no clue until last week about points. Apparently I have a bunch of points. Who knew? Yeah. They're down here. Oh, you can kind of see them. They're down here. You earn points and you can spend points. I have infinity points down here, which was nice. When I was testing out my bot, I was like, oh man, do I have to earn points in my own channel? How does this work? Do I have to credit myself? Twitch figured it out. They just gave myself infinity points. I like it. Let's see. Exothoric. Hi. How's it going? First time chat. Thank you so much. Let's see. T. Groutman. I built a tabletop wood attachment. Nice. That slips over my treadmill display. It's better than putting a laptop on the side of a couch that could fall off, and the treadmill is still usable from the table on there. I like it. Awesome. So you put a tabletop on there. Almost like a desk. that sounds awesome. I have a buddy who did something similar. He told me about it, and this was like pre-COVID because he was working from home. And I was like, dude, I got to see how this works. And I worked at a company once that had treadmills where, you know, they were like treadmills to do that type of thing, but they weren't like DIY. And I was like, this is actually great. It's kind of hard to like concentrate like while you're walking. I've done it before. Like it's great to like follow up on emails and great to like, you know, chat or communicate with people. It's tough to like write code on there. I've done it before. I'm like, oof, you know, like because for code when I write and develop software, I just got to have good music and like laser focus on like lines of code. It's kind of distracting, but awesome. You'll have to let me know how that goes because I don't have a treadmill, but it sounds super fun. You could like 2 for 1. Piece of Geek table flip. Yeah, please don't table flip his workstation. Howdy. Setting up a fresh Proxmox box now. It's Galactic Avenger. Awesome. We talked about that. Thank you. Appreciate it. Why is your ceiling fan on? Yeah, it is. But more importantly, why doesn't the fan have RGB? Yeah, great question. Why does it not have RGB? I don't know. I should totally put some kind of colored lights in there. But they're these weird, I think, halogen bulbs. I don't know. Does Hue or someone make some halogen bulbs that can be controlled? Because it's, you know, I don't know. But why is the fan on? Because it gets kind of toasty. You know, the lights you see are probably, I'd say about a third of the lights that I have on. Because I have 2 Elgato lights here, camera here, 2 more lights back there, 1 light over there, 1 light over there, and 1 light down there that you kind of can't see. And then I have my PC right here blowing air on me. It's facing directly at me. I have no idea why I have it pointing that way. I do because the cords, I don't want to have to have every cord take a 90-degree turn. So anyways, it's perpendicular to my desk. I also have the window open, cracked a little bit, and it's 16 degrees in Minnesota. True Minnesotan. Not originally, but I feel like I am. It gets warm in here. It gets warm, and then if I put a hat on and a hoodie, I get warm. But yeah, and plus I like moving air. I love moving air, even if it is cold. Like I turn on the ceiling fan when I go to bed, and you know, in the house when I go to bed, it's like 65 degrees in here, and I'm like, you know, it's kind of chilly. But I still like air on my face. I don't know. Always have. I think it's an old college thing because when I was in the dorms, I had a big box fan and it would just blow directly on my face because that's, you know, we didn't have AC in our dorm, so it was pretty warm. So I just kept the fan in there and never turned it off. Okay, let's see. T. Groutman. I modified my Raspberry Pi's cron tab to reboot each hour because they randomly become unresponsive over time. Seems to do the trick. That is awesome. It stinks that they become unresponsive. I'm wondering, you know, is it load? Is it something to do with micro SDs? I'm not sure, but that stinks. But hey, I love the ingenuity. They become unresponsive. Just reboot them. I like it. Yeah, SD card. Yeah, I totally agree, Pizza Geek. That's kind of what I was thinking too. Brian Weaver, DNS problems here, Nginx reverse proxy, so I can't get SSL certs for TrueNAS for the web admin page using blank, and all I do is accept, and all works except I can't connect to my TrueNAS shares using TrueNAS hostname only by IP address. Interesting. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Well, that kind of stinks. Yeah. So with your reverse proxy, I assume that's where you end up getting your certificates. And I assume somewhere you have DNS entries for this. I see. Yeah. Been there. Yeah, if DNS is working and you're using the DNS, if you're doing anything on the internet, nothing's going to work. But if the DNS challenge isn't working, that kind of stinks because then you can't do your Let's Encrypt DNS challenge to get a certificate from wherever, from Let's Encrypt. And then you can't use that certificate internally, and then you have to go by IP address. That stinks. Been there. Been there. If this is a new problem, I'm not sure. But if you've never gotten it to work, I would check too. The one mistake that I made, I think early on when I was doing this, was when I used Traffic, but Traffic was asking for DNS servers. I was actually giving it my internal DNS servers for some of my internal names. And that won't work because it's like the resolver is internal, so it'll never like resolve publicly, which you need to get out to somewhere to verify that you own this domain. So anyways, let me know if I can help. Anyways, DNS problems are kind of the worst. And it's like, it's once you figure it out, you're like, oh yeah, I'm so glad it's working. But getting there sometimes is a problem. That and firewall rules. Raid Owl set up a new Proxmox backup server a few weeks ago and getting random crashes every few days. Nothing useful in syslog. Bummer. Memtest checks out. Smart stats are good. May just blow it up and reinstall. Yeah, when in doubt, burn it down and build it back up. I've reformatted machines so many times, I can't even tell you how many times. I remember sometimes on Windows XP when I was setting it up, even if I got one prompt wrong, I'm like, you know, or name I had a typo in the PC name when setting it up for the first time. I'm just like, I'm going to rebuild this because I don't want any cruft in it, and then I'll image it. But yeah, that stinks. Random crashes is tough. The other thing to check out is, I mean, it could be hardware. Could be hardware if it continues. Random crashes to me, usually, you said RAM checks out, but are your CPU temps okay? You know, is it staying cool? Things connected? Reseat your RAM? I mean, we're going way back on the hardware piece. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. If you rebuild it and still happens again, I mean, then it's next steps. It's take the cooler or monitor the temperature of the CPU. Is it getting too hot? Reseat the RAM, those types of things. But and then hopefully it's not just something random like a SATA cable on one of them, and you know, and it just wiggles just right to where you know it reboots. Let's see, 2019 Windows Server VM, one of them, mine randomly locks up. It's gotten better though. Was something to do with VZ dump process. All right, I set it to stop on the backup job instead of snapshot, which is the default. Yeah, good point. Good point. I've been surprisingly pretty okay with my backups using. I just take a snapshot in Proxmox, and mine are kind of okay. So I guess I'm the lucky one. I don't stop mine. I just do a snapshot. I was thinking it maybe was something to do with C states and power management. Oh, so when I disabled it in the BIOS, no luck. Yeah, good call there too. Geos1, have you taken a look at the new Harvester VM system that integrates with the Rancher UI? I have. They just hit 1.0. So they're at general release. And they just hit 1.0. I have looked at it. Pretty interesting. It's definitely interesting. So it's HCI, and it's basically a way to run virtual machines inside of Kubernetes, because why not make it more complicated? It basically turns the paradigm upside down, and it allows you to run a cluster, a Kubernetes cluster, bare metal, to then run your virtual machines with KubeVirt inside of Kubernetes. So yeah, I've been playing with it, and I will have something coming. It's not, I just haven't fleshed everything out yet. I kind of got to understand it rather than explore it live. I don't want to do like an exploratory, like, hey, what does this do? And click on this button. I kind of want to have a little bit more informed opinion on it, and what I think about it, and not necessarily a review. I mean, I will give my review and my opinion, as I always do as I'm using stuff. But yeah, I have. It's interesting. It's interesting for sure. It's interesting. And this is things that other companies are doing too. It's just now that, SUSE and Rancher is doing it as well. Crack Kitty, where's Manny? Yeah, Manny is sick. Oh man, bummer. H2O Frox. Tim, looking into building out a Proxmox server and I was wondering if you can do a video reviewing your tech stack and resource capacity to get an idea of what you run and how your hardware is handling it all for your services. I kind of have one. I have a couple. I don't answer that question specifically, but if you look at any of my hardware 2021 tour or my self-hosted, basically home lab services 2021 tour, I talk about that. One piece is the hardware, one piece is the software, and all the specs of both. And I still have so much capacity. It's like unbelievable. Unbelievable how much capacity I have. I think I overbought, but that's okay. It's okay, because there are times when I need to crunch some stuff out, and it's totally fine. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, Manny. Yeah, I hope he feels better. Let's see. I read that one. Talked about that one. Galactic Adventure. Hello. Insert name here. I'm a data hoarder. Yeah. I kind of get that way too. I'm not a huge hoarder of data. I'm okay with deleting some stuff, like recorded TV. That's about it. No. You know, I'm okay with deleting some stuff. I've realized, you know, I don't need to keep everything all the time, and I try not to download a ton of stuff. I have been hoarding a lot of my old footage now with YouTube, not because I want to keep it sacred and I think it's special, just because I haven't figured out what I want to do yet. Like, do I compress this stuff or do I just get rid of it? You know, do I keep B-roll and only get rid of A-roll because I'm never going to look at A-roll, and I arguably have more A-roll than I do B-roll, because when I film, you know, you guys see like a 10, 15, 20-minute video, there's, you know, 20x times footage in those videos. You know, it takes me a couple hours to shoot, and I have a couple hours of footage usually for most videos, and I edit it down to, you know, and on top of that, multiple cameras or screenshots at the same time, or video recording of the screen. It takes up a ton of space. I'm like, I don't need to see myself messing up like 15, you know, times in a row. So anyways, I kind of been hoarding. I need to do spring cleaning. I'll say it that way, because I'm not hoarding and holding it like sacred. Like I'm afraid to lose it. It's more just I need to do some spring cleaning on my data for sure. Just like I do physically for the house. My wife and I, you know, about every 4 or 5 months we go through stuff and look at, like, have we touched it? Is it sentimental? Have we wore it? Do we still think we need this? And if the answer is no to most of those, we just donate it. And so I need to do the same thing with my data, except for I'm not going to donate it. No one would want this, nor would I want to give it to anybody. GM Robo, I tried passing through my workstation, and I got recently, nice, i9, 10 series, 10 series, 32 gig RTX Quadro 5000, and I found out that I need iGPU or another GPU in general because of how pass-through works. Yeah, I guess I'll just dual boot if I want to do some Linux, so the motherboard doesn't. Also, the motherboard doesn't have video out. Yep. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's interesting that the motherboard doesn't have video out, and it might be that process that you have. Maybe it doesn't have the Iris or the Intel integrated GPU, which means then it wouldn't be on the board, or vice versa. Maybe you just bought a board that you don't care about the Intel integrated GPU. That kind of stinks when you want to pass the main card through to a guest machine, but yet you only have one video card. So you can get a super cheap one, and so you have video out, at least for your main machine, and then the machine that you're virtualizing or that you're passing through to can use your nice video card. Slap a super cheap one in there, you know? Yeah, like those are easy to find, or something older, just to get you by to run video out. I'm gonna go with Fall One, subscribe, tier 1, thank you so much, appreciate it. Read that. Alpha computer. Yeah, I read that. I run mine year round in my heated and cool garage around 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Nice. Yeah, that's no issues. All right. Well, 68 is pretty comfortable all year round. I could go for some 68 all year round in my house, let alone in my garage. So awesome. That's perfect temp. Let's see. First time chat. Thank you. I'm gonna go with Roz Minho. Manny D1 used a misinformed Proxmox. I've been super happy with it. Oh, that's what we were just talking about. So we were talking about this Minis Forum, the small form factor, I think AMD devices that are really awesome. The only thing it's missing is Thunderbolt. I was planning on to get that one. I just want to hear some opinions. Yeah, thank you. I've seen them. I've seen them just recently. Look awesome. Kai, Devram, love your videos. Thank you so much. GM Robo, it's nice, even if there is 107 live viewers, Tim spends time answering every message. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. It's tough. It's tough. But thank you. I appreciate it. It's something I started doing, and I'm gonna continue to do it until I can't anymore. Sometimes, like getting close to now, I have to kind of wrap it up. So I usually towards the end, I'm hinting. I start looking for people who mention me directly, because usually those people were talking to me, and it's easier to see those as I scroll through. But I appreciate it. Yeah, I've always done it. I'm gonna continue to do it until I can't do it anymore, I guess. Quantum Penguin, Techno Tim, what software would you recommend to monitor Kubernetes clusters and resource usages? Oh, yeah, nice. Let me grab a drink. So, yeah, you know, this is, I mean, there's the classic Grafana, Prometheus to manage them. I mean, that's I don't want to say easy, a lot of resources, but, you know, that's what a majority of people are using who aren't using a cloud provider. So most of the time with cloud providers, you get all of this stuff. You know, you get all this stuff and you're like, great, you know, it's part of paying for hosting in the cloud. When you do it yourself, it's a little bit tougher. You got to install it and maintain it yourself. Also, then it's going to add some additional load on that cluster itself to be able to monitor that monitoring and alerting on your cluster. And also that's a ton of data it's going to generate. So you got to set retention. So there's a lot of care and feeding that comes along with it. I mean, most people are going to use, you know, are going to use Grafana, Prometheus, and Kibana possibly to monitor their cluster. You know, I've been using Rancher. Rancher out of the box does some pretty decent monitoring. They used to do a lot better. I think they're kind of backing off and saying like, let people choose their tools versus some of their tools. But they have pre-configured open source versions of those things I just mentioned that you can install very easily. But I mean, it's going to boil down to most of those open source tools that people are already using: Grafana, Prometheus, Kibana. But yeah, there are other things for sure. But those are the only things I'm familiar with outside of, you know, what cloud vendors give you, because they give you great tools because you're paying money. So they better. Yeah, let's figure it out. I mean, I used to use Rancher's built-in monitoring tooling. Again, they were just pre-configuring Prometheus and Grafana and Kibana for you. But yeah. Hopefully that helps. Rollers, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Kai, thanks. I love your sweater. Hey, thank you. I went loud today. I looked in the closet and I'm like, black as usual, or lime green. I'm going with lime green. And sweatpants. Hi, Techno Tim and chat. I'm using a E5 2670s with Unraid, currently planning to upgrade. Don't know if I should consider a secondary Epic X299, maybe even a Threadripper. Any suggestions? You know, I'll give the same suggestion that I tell most people. You know, the more compute you buy, the more power it's going to consume. Although, you know, arguably, if you're jumping from an older generation of something to a newer generation of something, sometimes it's a wash. Like they're more efficient. They have better low power mode, or they can control their power or go into a lower power state than older hardware could. Real quick, David, Zilly, I'm going with that. Thanks for the follow, appreciate it. It really depends. You know, I was saying this a little while ago, but you know, I was using older machines for a while that I had a ton of compute for, and I realized that I could probably downsize quite a bit. Probably not what you want to hear, because you're like, hey, should I go Epic or maybe even Threadripper? I would say, you know, think about like what you're going to run over the next couple of years. And I think someone posted this in our Discord channel earlier, talking about ROI calculator. You know, and the ROI calculator will take into consideration your hardware as well as your power and how much power consumption it's going to use over time. Because something that that might be cheap now may not be cheap to maintain over the lifetime of that device. You plan on having this server or this processor for 5 years and it's going to run 24/7. You know, it may or may not. What seems to be a good deal now may not be a good deal if you calculate in all the cost for power and all of that. I would say, think about what you're going to run on that machine. You said you're going to be replacing an Unraid server, so you're probably doing virtualization, you're probably doing containers, but really think about like how much compute do you really need? Are you just running a few containers? Are you even running 100 containers? Are you running any virtual machines? And even if you are doing all of that, 100 containers and 10 virtual machines, how much compute do they really use too? Because you'd be surprised. Like my K3S nodes, they 1 to 2% CPU. Sometimes they'll go up to 3 or 4, and depending on what workload's on there. but most things are pretty efficient. But if you're getting into, hey, I'm going to start like batch converting videos, something that's really CPU intensive. I think we were talking about TDAR earlier. That's where something like that is really going to come into play. So anyways, that's the best non-answer I have, is just to think about the workloads you'll be running on those devices. Because, you know, if you overbuy, sure, that's fine. But, you know, you just kind of got to think about like what's going to run on there, how much compute is it really going to use. I know that sounds like a generic non-answer, but those are the things I would think about. Like, am I going to run Plex? Yes, no. If I am, I'm going to pass through a GPU, because then that would offload the transcoding to the GPU. Okay, so I don't need to buy big on my CPU. Am I going to do anything else besides tons of little containers, you know? Or is it going to be just a NAS only? And if it's just a NAS only, I would arguably just say get the lowest power CPU you can possibly get. I mean, unless you're doing... I won't even go there, but I would say like a lot of people overbuy too on compute when they're just building a NAS. Not that NAS isn't that important, but NAS doesn't need, you know, a NAS generally, if you're just doing file-based services, you know, doesn't need 24 cores and you know, and a super fast CPU. But if you're going to be, you know, piling on containers and virtualization and everything else, you might. So anyways, that was a lot. I know that's a non-answer, but that's the best I got, because it you know, I am trying to answer something that's high level enough to make you to give you something to think about, really, because like unless I know exactly what you're running, it's hard to answer that question. But hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps you think about what you're going to be doing. Kev McKenzie, thanks for the Prime sub. Thank you so much for spending your Prime sub on me. Appreciate it. Crack Kitty, cheer, 200 bits, dude. Thank you. The stream and the Discord are really excellent. I'm so glad I stumbled into your community. Thank you, man. I appreciate it too. You contribute so much to our community. It's so awesome. You are pretty active, so I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all that you do. I do, for sure. Dude, PC Geek, dude, thank you so much. Gifted tier 1 sub to, I got to get this right, NUC employee. NUC employee. Dude, thank you. Dude, PC Geek, thanks for gifting a sub. I'm going to go with NUC employee. Thank PC Geek for your gifted sub. Dude, thank you guys so much. Okay, I'm going to look for mentions. What I was talking about earlier, because I'm a little bit over, and I know you guys got a lot to do today, and you have a lot of projects you need to wrap up, and you don't need me blabbing in your ear for the next hour. And usually I keep it to a little over an hour. And see, we're already over there. 4:22, missed it by 2 minutes. Galactic Avenger, is the upgrade from Proxmox 6 to 7 painless? Yes, and I did a video on it. It's painless. There are some scary parts. There was some criticism about like, why don't you understand what this upgrade error is telling you? You know. Anyways, I won't go down that path. It's painless, easy. I have a video detailing the whole entire thing, step by step, and you'll probably run into the same things I ran in. Just choose the same things I chose, and you should be good. Should be good. 7 is fantastic. It's great so far, and they've been revving so fast in updates. I love it. Let's see, PC Geek Techno Tim, we should have an SO for people to shout out. I like it. Let's see. Mentions. All right. I gotta do this again. Rosmaniho. That's what I'm going with. In your latest Home Lab Services video, you mentioned you use Pi-hole for local DNS, as I do as well. But since most of my servers are in K3S, I've been creating DNS records with the ingress URL and then pointing them to the IP address of one of the K3S nodes. Is this the best way? I feel like I'm creating a huge single point of failure if that specific node is ever down. Yeah. I don't want to say yes, but yes. Yeah, so I do the same thing. I think we're doing the same thing. We're using local DNS. You're creating DNS records. I'm creating CNAMEs. Doesn't really matter. But where I do point them to is MetLLB. So if you're running K3S and you have multiple nodes, don't point them all at one node. This is like, so if you're running K3S, and I say this a lot, and you're self-hosting Kubernetes, running it bare metal, even though it might be virtualized, that's what they call it. When it's outside of the cloud, they call it bare metal. So I'm going to call it that now. If you're running bare metal K3S in your home, it's very easy, because you own the network, to point directly at a node. Exactly what you're saying you were doing. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is install something like MetLLB, which will create an HA load balancer inside of the cluster and expose an ingress or expose your cluster through the IP address to where that's where you actually go into the cluster and then get to your ingress and then maybe get to your reverse proxy or whatever load balancers you have inside. So do that. MetLB, it'll take care of it. I mean, there's a little bit of a mind like what is going on here. It's like 3 commands to run. You might need to make sure you get the right IP address from DHCP if you're handing it out. But then after that, then what you would do, instead of pointing it at one node, what I do is I create a CNAME that says, hey, this is MetLB or whatever. You create a CNAME for each service you want to refer to. And then point them at a DNS record that you have somewhere else that is that MetLB IP, which, and then all your services will go to that MetLB IP, maybe go to traffic or whatever you're using for your ingress, and then send the traffic accordingly. So that's the way I do it. Check out MetLB. It might be kind of confusing, but it should help out. All right, looking for here. Make a mom wiki page. No, my mom would be like, I'm not using that. I'm going to call you and text you. She'd be like, what? Use a wiki? What is that? Jeff, I notice you are running more VMs than you do LXC. I'm guessing you run more of your services as Docker containers. Can you take care of the comment? Could you care to take a comment why you don't use LXC as much? Yeah, let me, real quick. Rosa Minho, I'm going with that. Cheered 100 bits. Thank you so much. Show love, 100. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the help. Awesome. No problem. Hopefully I answered that. But that should help you out. That should help you out. I think then you don't have to point directly at one node. Salvage. Oh man, I'm so sorry about pronouncing the names. But thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. This question comes up a lot, like, why don't I use LXC? I don't know. I don't know. I should probably use it more often, but to be perfectly, and I do use Proxmox, so I should be using it, and there's nothing wrong with it. But to be honest, Proxmox is the only place I've ever seen LXC exist. And that doesn't mean it's not right or not the right tool for the job, but I just never went down that path. I've been doing hypervisor stuff for a long time. I know how to manage all of my virtual machines, and I know how to shift them around. I know how to back them up. I know what tools need to be installed. I know how to manage them all with Ansible. Arguably, I'm using more resources probably because the way that I have them set up, and it's just personal preference. Just personal preference. That's all it boils down to. If you like LXC and you want to use it, absolutely go for it. I mean, it's a lightweight Linux container. It gives you basically Linux inside of a container, and then you can run maybe containers inside of that. But I'm also running, K3s, and I'm also running some Docker stuff, and I know there are ways around it to get it to work and to play well. But I've just gone down this happy supported path of things I'm familiar with, and maybe I should get uncomfortable and use LXC. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand it. I have used it before, but when I have 15 K3s nodes, all running in 2 clusters, I don't want to one-off anything. I just want to have it pretty standard, so I know how to manage every single thing. And arguably, I could migrate them to LXC, get them to work, and use it that way, but never went down that path because I came from VMware, and I came from Hyper-V, and I came from these other hypervisors where it was, didn't have anything like that. And I was using Docker at the time, and I was just like, yeah, migrate virtual machine over here, import, done. And the same thing goes when I've done even Hyper-V to VMware, or VMware to Hyper-V, or to Proxmox. Arguably, I burned those all to the ground and created new ones since then, but that was a thing. I used to, migrate stuff back and forth between Hyper-V and VMware all the time. And I was like, if it's just a Linux virtual machine, this is super easy. I have nothing to think about. But anyways, nothing wrong with it. Absolutely. Tons of people love it. I'd say if you want to learn about it and use it, absolutely go for it. And don't think because I don't use it, there's something wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's personal preference for me, and maybe old habits. I'll go that way. Ant Sweatpants. I find I want to future-proof, which leads to wanting more power than necessary. Thanks for the input. No, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. I've just, these questions come up a lot, and then I'll hear about some people like buying this huge monstrous system, and then they're just going to run TrueNAS on it with no virtual machines, and it's like, ooh, you could have got by with something a lot less power than that, and only running TrueNAS. Not that it's not important, but I'm talking about on the compute side, which is arguably where a lot of your power comes from. I know exactly what you mean about future proofing. It's kind of what I did with even my NUC servers. I bought into the DDR4 platform. Is more expensive. I actually went down in cores, but I bought 2 servers, so total cores I went up for my R720. But I know exactly what you mean. But I'm sure you know what you're doing, and I'm sure that you've got it under control. But yeah, I see. I never know the history with people, and so I kind of have to give these, kind of generic non-answers until I have more information. So Ant Sweatpants, yeah, go for it. So then it comes down to Epic or Threadripper. I think were your 2 questions. Oh, that one's tough. I mean, with Epic, you're going to get more lanes. Threadripper, you're probably going to pay less and use less power. Tough call. And I've looked into that same. I've gone down that same path, even thinking for my workstation here, Epic or Threadripper. What do I do? And so I'm like frozen, not making a decision because I don't know what to do. Abdurum, Techno Tim, the Hawaiian Sunset Light theme gives me flashbacks to when we were struggling with traffic in SSL. I love it too much. I configured SSL for my homeland because my brother won't visit my Heimdall dashboard due to the certificate errors popping up when he tried. He didn't trust me. Oh man. Get your certificates working, then he'll visit it. I love it though. You had to configure SSL for my homeland because my brother won't visit my Heimdall dashboard due to certificate errors. Yeah, good for him. He's like, I don't trust those self-signed certificates. Give me ones that I do trust. No, I kind of know that feeling. I'm so used to them now. I'm just kind of like, whatever. Like if I'm hosting the service internally, I'm just like, whatever. And I got to that same point too, where I was just tired of them. And now I'm like, no, I'm using certs on every single thing internally that I can. And part of the stuff that I built and the stack that I built makes it really easy. It's a journey for sure. But once you get it going, like it's totally incremental after that. It's like, oh, I need to, basically all I have to do is spin up a service in Kubernetes and create a CNAME for that thing, and it's done. Like I don't have to do anything anymore. Don't even have to think about it. It's so easy. It's so easy. Much more easier than it used to be for sure. Let's see. Sorry, I got to look for mentions. Greetings from Germany. Hey, Kev McKenzie, thank you so much. Got to look for mentions because we are way over. Taigi. Hey, how much kilowatts are your rack servers consuming each month? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. Look at one of my videos. This question gets asked a ton. I don't measure monthly. I mean, obviously the power company does. I know what my bill is, but do the math. My one rack, my only rack, is using roughly around 400. 400. So you'd have to do the math on that, and then do the math of how much that would cost, where energy costs in your area. Let's see. You could just Sigor. You could record any remote shell or VNC session that you might use for your mom's tech support issue as B-roll. Yeah. No, I like where you're going because that's kind of what I was thinking too. Sort of do like a vlog style postmortem each time you do tech support. Would be some cool content. Oh yeah. You're speaking my language. Yeah, this stuff had been running through my head for a while. Like how do I capture this? And I have some ideas. I do like it though. I kind of got to tell my mom I'm doing this. She doesn't even know yet. She doesn't even know. I've had these plans, and these plans have been in the works since Christmas. Because I went home for Christmas. That's when her machine was down, and this happens every time I visit. Computer's not working. Will you take it with you? 500 miles back home and fix it. I have no problem doing that, but Mom, just tell me when it happens and I'll fix it then and ship it to me. And you don't have to wait until I visit to physically bring it with me. But yeah, lots of ideas. I'm sure she's going to be fine. And my mom is not a tech person at all. She's absolutely 100% not a tech person. Not at all. I'll say that. But I think that for most people's needs, a browser is going to be fine on the desktop. For a lot of people, what they do is basically web browsing. I won't say surfing, but getting work done on the web. So pretty cool. Dogs are going crazy. All right, got to wrap it up. Thank you and greetings for Germany. Love your work. Thank you so much, Mackenzie. All right, we wrapped it up quick. Hey guys, thank you so much. My dog is freaking out right now because I'm sure there's a delivery, which is also pretty awesome. But man, thank you guys so much for hanging out, for bringing your questions, for making this channel and YouTube channel what it is today. Also, thank you so much for making Discord what it is today. My dog's freaking out. Thank you, Pizza Geek. If you have more questions, or if you didn't get your question answered, or I skipped over it accidentally, absolutely join our Discord. We have a Discord full of, it's almost 6,000 people. We're getting there. Discord full of 6,000 people that are definitely willing to help, who are passionate, who like this stuff, like talking tech and like getting new ideas or helping people, or just like chit chat all day when you're kind of bored, or all night. I will be back next Saturday for sure. The next thing I'm working on is kind of big, and not like big like this big unveiling, but it's just taking a lot of work. So maybe next week, we'll see. It's gonna be a tough one. Thank you so much. Lots of bits, lots of follows, lots of subs, lots of resubs. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hey guys, have a great weekend. I will see you next weekend. I will be in Discord tonight too. If you need anything, feel free to ping me or let's talk. Have a good rest of the Saturday and a good weekend, and be good to each other. Take care, folks.